Oh, a new visitor from the woods. Welcome. Are you a lost wanderer? Tired of a long journey? Then join me. Sit beside the fireplace and let me tell you some stories that may soothe your mood as you regain your strength. Are you all set? Good. How about I tell you a story featuring the lives of a twin? Not just the ordinary ones, but the ones that were destined for a great purpose right from their birth. The story of Aphelios the hitman and his twin sister, Alun the seer. Miracles are something that happen only once in a million, or maybe even less. But they do happen, making it something to look out for and cherish. Looking at the mightiest peak in Runeterra, the mountainous and sparsely inhabited region in the west of Shurima, and the place also known as the Beacon to Dreamers, Mount Targon is the perfect place for life-changing events, the ones that you can call miracles. The story begins in Lunari, an ancient organization and religious order venerating the aspect of the moon of Mount Targon, and Diana serves as the aspect of the moon, being the physical embodiment of the deity that the Lunari pray to. On one fateful night, Aphelios and Alun were twins born to the Lunari. Giving birth to twins is rarer than usual, but what made Aphelios and Alun's birth was the timing. They were born during a lunar convergence, a phenomenon when the moon of the spirit realm eclipsed the moon in the physical world. Because of the significance of their birth on a lunar event, the twins were celebrated as children of destiny, growing up as loyal zealots of the Lunari faith. The two embraced the night and hid in the shadows, away from the oppressive Solari. Also located in the mountains, Solari is an opposing organization that worships the aspect of the sun of Mount Targon, creating conflicts against the Lunari. The two organizations often fought due to their contradicting ideals and beliefs. However, this time, the Lunari firmly believes that the twins will be the ones who will stop the nonsense war. During the early age of Aphelios and Alun, they already showed signs of what they were potentially good at. Mirroring the two moons that marked their births, the twins undergo different trainings, representing each moon during the lunar convergence. Aphelios trained tirelessly with the mystical moonstone blades, becoming physically strong as a symbol of the physical moon. On the other hand, Alun, who was gifted magically, trained to be a seer as a symbol of the spiritual moon, using her magic to reveal hidden paths and truths using the light of the moon. Aphelios and Alun stood tall throughout their rigorous training, exceeding expectations as their bond became the foundation of their hard work. Eventually, Alun's training would require her to leave the Lunari temple, the place where the two had been raised, separating her from Aphelios more often. Saddened by her sister's increasing absence, it pushed Aphelios to find his own purpose. Aphelios underwent a ceremonial journey in order to discover his orbit, which is the Lunari term for finding one's purpose in life. The path of the twins, which began as intertwined, slowly moving in opposite directions as they fulfill their roles in Lunari. On his religious journey, Aphelios discovered a pool full of poisonous bluish-violet dusk petals, also known as noctum flowers, hidden in a cave. These rare flowers bloomed beneath the water's surface, allowing the poison to be distilled into a liquid that, if consumed, was thought to open one's mind to the power of the moon. Drinking the noctum's essence is part of his ceremonial journey, and Aphelios does so without hesitation. Right after he consumed the said liquid, Aphelios felt a pain so intense that his entire body became numb, allowing his body to be completely immune to pain. The effects on Aphelios were too intense. His vocal cords tightened up and rendered him almost completely mute while under the influence of the Noctum essence. Despite the painful experience, Aphelios successfully survived the ritual, carrying a Noctum flower on his way back to the temple. Not long after completing his journey, a rare phenomenon unfolded. An ancient Lunari fortress located in the spirit realm called the Maris Omegnum began to phase into the physical world, showing up in the Mount Targan. This event hadn't occurred in centuries, making it almost a myth, but it happened that day. Lunari from all over Targon gathered to the location of the ancient temple, hoping to witness the event as a sign of a new era for the Lunari and a shifting of power in the cosmos. Traditionally, the Maris Omegnum would open up to a magically gifted individual to occupy it every time it phased into existence. With this year's chosen occupant, Alun was the chosen one. Aphelios, to the Lunari's surprise, personally requested to witness the event and see his sister move on to the spiritual fortress. It would be the last time Aphelios may see her twin sister. That's why the Lunari complied with his request. Meanwhile, as the Maris Omegnum phased into reality under a veil of moonlight, the oppressive Solari discovered the gathered Lunari. Swiftly, they initiated an ambush to purge the Lunari and prevent them from gaining more power. Just as expected, Lunari was caught off guard, but they tried their best to defend the place as the ritual continued. The chaos alerted Aphelios, making him rush to the battlefield in that instant. He fought bravely to protect his people, but even with his newfound strength, it wasn't enough to defend the ambush. Aphelios was defeated, left with his moonstone blades shattered, desperately reaching towards the Noctum flower he retrieved from his journey. As Alun rushed into the temple, she reached the heart of the fortress, while Aphelios consumed the Noctum flower at the same time. Alun's magical abilities were amplified within the spiritual fortress. In that exact moment, Aphelios found he was capable of feeling his sister's powers, embracing him, and hearing her voice as she materialized a new moonstone weapon in his hand. Within the Maris Omegnum, Alun's powers would be magnified and allowed her to project her magic anywhere in the world, as long as it found a focus in. In this case, it's the Noctum poison coursing through Aphelios' veins. Using her new amplified powers, Alun pushed both herself and the temple back into the spirit realm, while Aphelios stood up once more and fought off the Solari with a new arsenal of moonstone weapons. Together, the twins showed why they were the chosen ones, protecting both the spiritual and physical realms respectively. As the dust settled, Lunari survived and the ritual was completed, while the Solari retreated. Days passed by, and Aphelios figured out something. By using the poisonous Noctum essence, he could hollow himself out by numbing his body, becoming a living conduit for his sister's lunar magic. Alun, on the other hand, would remain alone within the spiritual fortress, guiding her brother from afar, seeing through his eyes and providing him with his mystical arsenal. Their souls were simultaneously close, yet realms apart, converging into something they couldn't wholly understand. Their destinies were probably written by the day they were born, which was the current situation that they are in. Now realizing their true purpose, the twins became the weapon that the Lunari needed, an agent to protect them in the newly shifting power balance of Targon between the Solari and Lunari. Aphelios and Alun shoulder the responsibility of a better tomorrow for their citizens, hoping to end the oppression once and for all. For a moment, the twins thought that their paths were no longer connected as they ventured into different roles in the Lunari. Confusing as it is strangely a bit of both, connected to each other but realms apart. However, the twins believed that they were the ones who could play this role, which made their bond stronger. Beginning to fulfill their destiny, the twins went on many missions together to protect the faithful Lunari from oppression. As the master of their respective craft, the combination of their newfound abilities was outstanding. The assassin training of Aphelios was complemented by Alun's guidance and magical assistance, creating a deadly duo that no one could compete. Over the course of their countless missions, Alun created a wide arsenal of weapons she provided her brother, each weapon being uniquely tied to a spiritual creature within the Maris Omegnum, and Aphelios wielded them flawlessly. Alun's abilities as a seer became more keen, and she began to instruct Aphelios whom to target. On most of their missions, Aphelios was sent by his sister to assassinate many Solari targets that threatened their people. One of these targets was a talented sun forger who enchanted Solari weapons with the power of the sun. The said sun forger was the one responsible for providing deadly weapons for the Solari oppressor, and eliminating him would weaken the force of Solari. It wouldn't be wise to approach him up front, since he is for sure surrounded by guards. Aphelios then waited for the right time and assassinated their target with the weapon Severum under the cover of night. Once again, the twins managed to balance the power between Lunari and Solari. As days go by, another mission is presented to the twins. While preparing in a cave temple, Aphelios felt his sister comforting him from the spirit realm, sharing his senses and sending him visions of both the past and his next target. It is a nostalgic connection for Aphelios, but he focused on the latter of the message instead, eyeing the mysterious barbarian from outside of Mount Targon. After drinking the poisonous Noctum flower and numbing his body, he felt Alun's presence once more, and then summoned Gravitum in his hands. Aphelios then emerged from the cave and scaled the mountain, guided by his sister and armed with his new gravity cannon, wherein he drew floating islands toward himself. Upon reaching his destination at the side of the mountain, Aphelios witnessed a group of Solari warriors, infamously known as Burning Ones, surrounding the same outsider he saw in his visions. A battle quickly unfolded, as the Solari warriors targeted Aphelios. Unfortunately for them, Aphelios pulled out Severum and Crescendum. Despite the numbers advantage, the fight wasn't even remotely close. With a combination of two different weapons, Aphelios killed the Solari warriors effortlessly. The barbarian outsider thanked Aphelios for saving him from the Solari warriors. However, defending the barbarian wasn't originally the plan. He was the target that needed to be eliminated. It's evident that Aphelios was hesitant to do so, but his fate with his sister outweighed his doubts on his mind. Unwillingly, Aphelios was forced to kill the man as part of his mission to retrieve a mysterious scimitar stolen by the barbarian. It was Lunari's property after all, but Aphelios felt that killing the barbarian was not necessary. Aphelios began to inspect the scimitar that he successfully claimed. For some reason, it felt familiar to him, but could not fully remember if he truly had seen such a weapon. It's evident that the blade is made out of moon silver, a metal forged under the moon's light, imbued with a small amount of the moon's magic. After fully realizing what the weapon was, Alun stated that the scimitar's owner was fleeing from something, though unsure of what. Filled with mystery, the twins wanted to unfold the truth. They knew that their next mission was to locate the owner and bring that person back to the Lunari. The twins encountered countless missions, and each one of those had a vivid reason why they needed to accomplish such a task. However, their new mission was different. Sure, there have been multiple uncertainties with their path, but not when it comes to visions. Uncertainties are something that make anyone double think their decisions. Of course, it's always easier to thread a path with a clear direction, objective, and reasonable course. But we must not forget those uncertainties also fuel the thrill of the unknown, making accomplishments much sweeter once achieved. Not all events need an explanation. It's just up to you to find out. And with that, Aphelios stood committed to completing his mission and walked into the night with the crescent blade in his hand. Are you interested in his next journey? Well then, stay tuned for more stories.